about myself, so I have approximately 6+ years of experience working as a project management consultant, and I have trained many working professionals. At the same time, I have handled some corporate trainings as well. So, like the range of audience is vast. I've trained students from undergraduate, postgraduate, okay, from India and abroad as well. At the same time, working professionals at managerial level, right? So we know the width and the depth that is required in Primavera to work as a professional. Okay, what are the key areas that we have to focus? And at the same time, there are many other softwares I'm proficient in, which I have mentioned. That is Microsoft Project. That is again one of the project management software. And finally, while talking about the methodology, which is really important, right? So my objective will be eventually to simplify the topics, okay, explain them in as much easy manner as much possible, and provide you with sufficient practice so that you will feel a solid command or a grip on the subject. Okay. Apart from that, uh, what we try to keep is to make a balance between the conceptual knowledge as well as the practical implementations. Right? We just don't want to be an operator working on the software without knowing the concepts, right? So just like in Primavera, there are so many different concepts that we need to really understand or thorough, okay, so that we can actually understand the learnings in the software. Okay, so that's what about just me and the training methodology. Okay, now moving on to the scope of the demo that we are going to have today. So I'll be just giving you an intro to Primavera as a software. After that, we'll move towards the installation and setup, graphical user interface, and a few more topics like creating a project and EPS. So let's see how much time allows to cover these topics. I'll try to cover them as much as possible. And okay, I'll come to the scope of the demo once I'll just give you a complete brief outline. But before that, we'll just cover a few more slides which I have. That is about the course outline. Okay, so throughout the training, you are going to cover almost all the important topics that are required to get a solid command in Primavera software. Okay, and some of the important topics that you can see on the roadmap on the screen are like some basic concepts of project planning and management that we have, GUI, scope management that deals with how to understand the scope of a project, and maybe we want to work with work breakdown structure and all these things. What are activities and how we can assign the relationships, the different type of relationships we have, and so on. So scheduling is going to be a really interesting topic, and it has some important concepts as well. So we'll be going to cover it in detail. After that, we'll be moving towards tools and resources. Okay, so overall, Primavera offers uh, a project manager or a scheduler or maybe a planner, right? Lots of uh, options, right? It helps us in managing our schedule, our resources, and at the same time our budget as well, right? So these are primarily the three uh, key areas, right, that Primavera will help us in managing our project. Okay, so we'll be talking about that, and post that we'll be moving towards the baseline. Okay, what is a baseline and how can we create one in Primavera? And project execution and control, and value analysis, and so on and so. And towards the end, we will be discussing about the miscellaneous topics. Okay, and you'll also receive some tips and ideas about interview questions, what are the most common or frequently asked questions that will be also covered throughout the course outline. Okay. Now, this is just a bird eye view, right? It's not a comprehensive or an exhaustive list of the topics that we are going to discuss. These are just a 1,000 feet view of our program. Okay, but we'll be just going through lots of details. Okay. Towards the end of the program, we will also do some hands-on on two projects. The first one is going to be a residential building project, and the second one is a highway project. Now, might happen that not everyone like this projects because the domain can be different. Okay, it can be from like oil and gas, manufacturing, production planning, and uh, shutdown projects, and so on. So there can be so many different domains and areas, right? So if you don't like these projects, what we can do that we will encourage you to do a project of your own domain by your own, or maybe if you have executed a project in the past, you can try to implement it into the Primavera, and we will be assisting you with the same. Okay, so we just don't want to restrict your learning to the specific projects that we are offering. Okay, you are open to do a practice or a hands-on on your own project as well, right? So it's going to be uh, an open choice, right? Now for lab setup, there is no such specific requirements. Primavera is not a high-end software that requires lots of configurational requirements, right? It's a very fundamental software, so you can just have any Windows 7, 8, or 10, and it will still work on it. At the same time, the requirement of RAM is just 4 GB, right? That's a very basic requirement. Okay. So, requirement wise, there's no such hard and fast or very high configurations. You can use it on your own machine as well. All right. Now, if I talk about the additional course resources, so we'll be sharing some important uh, links to some of the important concepts, right? Which you can just go and uh, have refer by your own. And at the same time, we'll share a PDF with you, which will have some questions related to interview preparation. Okay, so it will have around some 50 to I think 50 to 70 questions along with their answers, which will help you or give you a good idea about interview preparation. So that will be provided towards the end of the program. Also, there are some mock interview questions that will be provided to you. I have just some sample questions on the screen right now. They are very basic, but once you have cleared this, we'll also share with you some of the more like relatively tough and advanced questions as well. Okay. Now let's go to the demo part. Okay, so this was just an overview where I have just shared some of the informations about the lab setup, what are the requirements. Apart from that, I have shared details about me. Okay, and we have gone through some of the course outlines, the most important topics that will be covered. And now we will be just trying to understand some of the topics related to the program. Okay. So the first thing that we want to understand is introduction to Primavera as a software. So just like if you talk about accounting, okay, or if you talk about any other domain, there are some specific set of softwares that we use, right? If we talk about visualizations, so we have Power BI. We talk about database management systems, we have SQL and other softwares. Similarly, when we talk about project planning and management, right? So, in order to help a project manager manage his project efficiently, Primavera is generally utilized. And of course, there are other softwares as well. Okay, but Primavera is one of the most widely utilized software that we have in the market, and uh, it's utilized almost in every industry, be it construction, oil and gas, manufacturing, okay, maintenance, or you can name it, and you'll find the application of Primavera in that particular uh, domain. Okay, so that vast is the utilization of Primavera as a software, and so in a nutshell, I can just say that Primavera is a project planning and management software. Okay. So Primavera is a project planning and management software, so it helps us in planning a project and at the same time managing it. Okay. But first and foremost, why do we want to manage a project? Okay. So usually, what happens? Look, in order to improve something, okay, in order to improve something or in order to track something, first and foremost we need to monitor it, right? We need to have some data related to it. Until and unless we have data related to it, we cannot improve upon it, or we cannot work it in an efficient manner, right? Just like a project has lots of information related to time, like activities. Okay, so we have many activities which are performing over a period of the time. We have resources. Okay, we have cost, right? And if I'm not keeping a track of my information or my data, um, I will never realize that how good or bad I'm performing within my project, right? So Primavera, it integrates all these things together, and it will help a project manager understand that how we are performing in a project, and it will help them in planning it in an efficient manner. Okay, so uh, that's how Primavera is an important tool to be utilized and used by uh, like, I'll say, variety of professionals. It can be a scheduler, planner, project control specialist, project manager, and so on. There are many different layers at which it is utilized. Right. So this was just a brief introduction about Primavera, that it is a project planning and management software, and eventually we use it to usually, look what happens. The projects get delayed very often, right? So we want to save our project from getting delayed. We want to save our project from getting over budget, and so on and so. So that's why we generally tend to deploy Primavera. It gives us lots of insights, okay, and so on. Now, when we talk about the installation and the setup of Primavera, it's very straightforward. And once you have started learning with us, I'll share with you the website where we can go create an account free of cost, and you can download the software by your own. Okay. At the same time, installation is super easy. It's nothing complicated except just few tricky steps, right? But overall, it's an easy software to install. So it's not going to take much time, and as soon as you'll begin your journey learning with us, we'll help you install the software uh, even before having our first lecture, right? So that will be covered during the training part. Okay. But believe me, it's going to be free, and it's going to be easy. Okay. Now let's talk about GUI. That is an acronym for graphical user interface. Okay, so this is a graphical user interface. So whenever we are learning a new software, the first thing that we want to do is to learn. the graphical user interface, or just scan through the graphical user interface, right? Just think about this. You are going to learn how to fly a aeroplane. Okay, so initially few days you'll try to understand what is what, make ourselves familiar with the software. So that's what we are going to do here. We are just trying to make ourselves familiar with the software in this part of the demo. Okay, so let me quickly go to the Primavera software. Uh, in order to launch it after you have installed it, you can just write P6. Okay, don't write Primavera. If you're going to write Primavera, you will not find anything. Okay, so you see I'm writing Primavera. Okay, so might happen you'll not find anything. So it's easy to actually write P6 and you'll find it. So we'll be working with Primavera P6 Professional. I'll just click and launch it. And since there are some security features within the software, as soon as you launch it, as soon as we'll go here, we can write P6, okay? And you can see that you will find the Primavera Professional software here. Click on that, and it will launch the software. And even before it will allow us to get inside, it will ask me the ID and the password. Okay? So while setting up, we will also create the ID and the password. But this is a good security feature that Primavera offers. Going to understand the graphical user interface of Primavera. So, right. Okay. So first and foremost, let's go to the top, and there you'll see like here, okay, it shows me Primavera P6 Professional 2022, right? So this is the version of Primavera that we are using, and it will show you on the top, and it can be termed as a title bar, okay? And we have a colon, and after that you see no current project, right? So Primavera helps us in actually managing huge amount of projects. There is no limitation as such. You can manage 100, 200, 500 projects as per your convenience. But as soon as I'll open a particular project, okay, the details of a particular project that will be displayed over here. But since right now I have not opened any project or details of any project, it doesn't show me anything here. That's why it shows no current project. But later on I'll explain you after opening a project that the the ID and the project name will be displayed here on the top. Okay. Now here we have the menu bars. And just like when you visit a restaurant, it offers you lots of uh, menu options. Okay, what you want to eat. Based on that, the software offers us with lots of menu options. That all this are the features that a software has to offer. Okay. Now many of these features which we find in the menu bar are also available at what we call as toolbars. Okay. So here we have something that is our toolbars. Okay. So here you can see that on the top we have lots of icons. On the right we have some icons. Okay. Here we have some icons. And towards the left as well we have some icons. Okay. So all these three options can be termed as a toolbars, right? They offer us the same options that are available in the menu bar. So it's up to the user whether they want to use these options directly, or they can also navigate from the menu bar and work accordingly. Okay. So these are our menu bars. Here we have something that is our tabs. Okay. So these are my tabs. And just like in Excel, you can open multiple sheets. Okay, in Excel we have multiple sheets. Similarly, here also we have tabs. So we can open multiple tabs related to project. Then maybe we can have some tabs related to work breakdown structure or activities and so on. Okay, I'll share it with you very soon. Then here we have something that is termed as a table. So this is my table, which contains some information related to projects. Okay, so this table is of course distributed into columns. So this is my table, and on the right hand side you can see that we have bars, and we'll call it as a bar chart. So on the left hand side we have table. Here we have what we call it as a table, and on the right hand side we have a bar chart. Many people actually term this as a Gantt chart as well. Okay. So many people call it as a Gantt chart as well. But in true sense, it is a combination of a bar chart and a table that makes a Gantt chart. Okay. Alone, it is not a Gantt chart. In technical terms, it should be a bar chart. But this is a very common terminology which many professionals use interchangeably between a Gantt chart and a bar chart. Towards the bottom, we have a details box. You can see we have a details box here. So when I select a particular project, okay, if a particular project is selected, I can see all the details at the bottom. So, so overall, again, if I repeat, we have a title bar, we have a menu bar, we have icons, okay, which are part of toolbars. Then we have a bar chart area. Okay, this is the bar chart area where you'll see the timeline, okay, related to your projects. So here, left hand side, we have a table. Towards the bottom, we have a details box. Okay, the details box will offer you all the details about a particular project. So let's say this is a particular project. So I can see lots of informations and settings related to that project over here. Okay. Now I was talking about this here. So let's say I'll open a particular project. So right click and open it. Right. And now you can see that we have multiple tabs. Okay. Now I have two tabs. The first tab show me a projects option, and the second tab shows me the activities which are details of a particular project. Okay. And on the top you can see earlier on it was showing no project, but now it shows me the ID and the name of the project at the top. Okay, that's what I was explaining during the graphical user interface part. Okay, so that was related to the graphical user interface of Primavera. Okay. Now next, let's say I want to create a project. So look, as soon as we are here, the very first thing that we might need to do is to create a project. Okay, and create a project is like not a project in true sense. It's just setting up the stage. Okay, so think it like this: that I have a folder with me. Okay, a folder, and it's completely blank. I'll just write on the top of it that this folder will be used to keep the records of my employees. Okay. And later on, I'll keep on populating lots of papers into it, and later on, it became a file. Right. So initially, when I'm saying that we want to create a project, okay, that simply means that we want to create a high level details of a project. Okay, like what is the name of your project, okay, who is going to be the responsible manager for this particular project, and maybe we want to know what is the project start date. Okay, a tentative start date even is good. Just few more basic details like that. Okay, so maybe let's say we want to start a new, let's say, a building project. Okay, so in that case, we'll go to File and I'll click on New. So there are many multiple ways through which you can create it. And as I told, you can work with menu bar as well as you can work with the icons. So if I don't want to work with menu bar, I can just go to this icons, and I can find the same option here, like New. Okay. If I go to File, I can find the same option here, and it's totally up to the individual uh, which way they prefer. Okay, so let's say I just want to go with the menu bar, so I'll go to File and New. Okay, I want to create a new project. And the very first thing that it asks me is EPS, that is what is the enterprise project structure. Okay. So usually what happens in an organization, if you have a proper PMO, okay, there will be EPS, right? The projects will be organized into some disciplines, right? Like a big organization can have multiple projects running into multiple disciplines. Like they can have IT projects, they can have projects related to construction, or maybe related to green energy and so on, right? So we can distribute these projects into the disciplines, and that's what is an EPS is. So let's say this particular project, what I'm going to add is falls under, let's say, engineering and construction. Okay, you can see that there are many EPS which are already being built already, and if we want, we can even add additional EPS as well. Okay, but as of now, I just want to use this that the project that I want to create should fall under engineering and construction. So I'm going to select my EPS and select. Okay, then I'll go to next, and it is going to ask me what is a project ID, what is a project name. Okay, so a project ID has to be meaningful. Okay, so we can say that we have a residential building coming up into New York, and I just want to name it like, let's say, year. So it's in the year 2224, and this is the 15th building. Okay. So this is a nomenclature that I have adopted. I want the code for the city, the year, and finally the number of building. Okay, so this is the 15th building that I am constructing in New York in 2024. Okay, but we can have our organizations have their own nomenclature, and they tend to give the ID based on that. So name of the project, let's say it's residential project 15. Okay, so this is the ID and the password. Next. Now it is looking for the project plan start. Okay, that when you are planning to start it. So maybe let's say we want to start it by 1st of July 2024. And it is also looking for must finish by, which is not compulsory, right? I'll be talking about this at later stage of the time because must finish by is actually not a date; it is a constraint. Okay, it can have effect on our schedule, so it's not necessary to feed it, and in most of the cases, we'll tend to leave it until and unless it is specified. Okay, so as of now, we are going to leave it, and later on we'll be discussing about it when we will be talking about the constraints. So move to the next. Who is the responsible manager? And we'll have some list of predefined manager who we have already created in the past. We can even create our uh, own managers as well. So I'll select the responsible manager. Next. Rate type, not so important as of now, we'll leave it to standard. And finally, click on finish. So through the steps, what we have did is we have created a new project. A new project in the sense it's completely empty, right? We don't have any activities, we don't have any resources, we don't have any uh, cost estimates. It's just a blank, high-level information of our project, right? It's just a high-level detail of our project. Who is the manager? When you are going to start it? And right, what is the EPS? Okay, under which so you can see that here. This particular project is being built under this EPS, what we have chosen. Okay, so this little pyramid symbol represents an enterprise project structure, and this folder option represents the projects. Okay, so don't get confused when you are in this particular window. Okay, so again, these pyramids are part of EPS, enterprise project structures, and this actually represents our project. Okay. So I'll just right click, open the project, and it will ask what activities are. Okay. So I hope You would have just got a glimpse. Okay, so there's activities here we have. Okay, so here we can see that when I clicked on open project, it took us to a new window, activities. And here we will be having all the details. Here we'll be having all the details related to our project, right? Here we'll add some activities. Here we'll assign the durations and so on. So, okay. So that is what an activity is.